Recording in progress.
Yay.
Hey.
Hi, Tanya. You're back on European soil.
Yes.
And I would like to say you're back to health, but that's not true. You're still a bit sick.
Yeah, I am. But much better than a couple of days ago.
Yeah. I have some kind of virus too. I think you can hear it in both our voices.
Probably. But everybody's going to sound like this at this time of year.
Yeah, but it's extra, how do you say it? Suave.
Yeah.
So it's the last episode of the year.
It's the last episode of the year. It's the last episode of the season.
Are you ready to talk about plants? No, first, we need to do an overview of what we're going to talk about.
Yes, of course. We're going to spill some plant tea today. We're going to do our new segment. We have 3 things that we're going to be talking about. And then we're going to put a Provenance Spotlight on the wonderful Philodendron Dean McDowell. And we'll have a look at variegation.
Yeah.
And then we're going to close out with Rate That Weird Plant. Today it's my turn.
Exciting.
And you get to rate.
I wonder if we will gonna make it like until next year doing the Rate That Weird Plant, because I don't know if there's that many weird plants, but...
Oh, I think we've only just scratched the surface.
Okay. Can't wait.
So many more genera that we need to cover.
I can't wait. All right, hit the jingle.
Ding,
Spilling
ding.
the plenty.
Pop culture. Spilling the plenty.
First up, I got another Google alert, yay, about trends in houseplants, in collecting plants, and this title caught my interest. I thought it was a clickbait title, and yeah, for sure it is, because the title says 9 houseplants that flourish in windowless rooms, according to gardening experts. So I was very skeptical. I guess we've all seen the Facebook or Reddit posts. I have this toilet room with no window. What plant can I put there? And the only correct answer is a plastic one, though I would never recommend plastic plants. So I thought that was the next article that's going to be bullshit. But then I saw the experts mentioned there. And one of the people mentioned was Enid Offolter. So I thought, would Enid recommend plants in windowless rooms?
I don't think so.
No. But then I started reading, and then it starts saying, so if you work in an office without a window or have a windowless room at home, you may be wondering whether houseplants are off the table. After all, plants need light to convert carbon dioxide and water into energy through photosynthesis. So that's true. While no plant can survive without light for an extended period, many can thrive in low light conditions or in rooms with artificial or grow lights. Yeah, that's different. I mean, duh. But you would be surprised how many people don't know that plants can grow in artificial light.
You know who does know that? All the cannabis growers.
Exactly, but a lot of farmers too, like all your basil, all your greeny leaves, most of them are grown under artificial lights. So yeah, that is something that I experience quite a lot when I talk to people that don't know much about plants, that they are surprised that artificial light can be equally as good as sunlight.
Oh,
even better.
Yeah, because it doesn't get obstructed by clouds and...
Yeah, and also because you can choose what kind of wavelengths you can blast at the plants.
Exactly.
Like if you choose specific wavelengths, they can induce flowering or can induce fruits to ripen faster, etc., etc. So
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, the article itself is not that important or that interesting. It lists plants that you and I know that can grow in house room conditions. So like Philodendron, Dracaena, Zamioculcas, just, the regular ones, Monstera. So yeah, as you and I both know, these are plants that grow in the tropicals, in the rainforest, underneath big trees that don't get much light, indirect light. So
I get some beautiful sun stressing on my Hoya with artificial lights.
That's not something you should be proud about.
Why?
sun stressing is not good. It's stressing.
Oh, come on. Really?
If it makes you happy.
Mm. No, I feel bad.
No.
I'm a horrible plant mother.
No.
You should see my collection, yes. Anyway,
you did your best. Anyway, let's go to the next topic. Tanya, have you heard of Philodendron 69586?
No, wait. You go back and tell us what Enid said. Or was that what she said?
That was what she said. I mean,
okay,
she
good.
was just one of the gardening experts that were consulted, I guess. Or maybe they just took her book and extracted information from that.
Probably.
Yeah, it was really not a
We're
very interesting
We're gonna have
article.
to ask her one of these days.
Yeah.
On the show.
Just confront her like, Enid, did you recommend plants for windowless rooms? Just put her on the spotlight.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna love me after that.
Yeah. Okay. So while you interrupted me, I'll ask my question again.
Yes.
Have you heard of Philodendron 69586?
I've read it here and there, but I keep on thinking people are making a typo or something.
Well, you're spot on. I saw it a few times in different Facebook groups. People asking like, does somebody have a picture of a mature philodendron and then the long number? Like, how does it look like? Is it different to Philodendron 69686? But turns out a large nursery or reseller mislabeled the plant. So now it has a new name.
Well, technically it doesn't even use the number anymore, right?
No, that's true. It has been described, I think, a few years ago. Philodendron Beta Waterbury it's called now.
Yeah.
So I went a little bit into the original name. It was labeled P69686 as an accession number by Dr. Thomas Croat. I have no idea why the number is that high. Like, I wouldn't expect there to be 70,000 plants he selected. I mean, it's possible, but maybe like the 69 is for philodendron or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe we should ask Tom.
We should. I've found that it has an uncertain origin. It has no documented wild collection history. Dr. Crow believes it's likely from Brazil, based on the presence in Roberto Burle-Marx collection. So the connection to Burle-Marx is made again. They are not sure whether it's a species or a hybrid. The description of Beta Waterbury always has this X in front of it, which means it's like a wild hybrid. Same for UPI. So yeah, there's lots of things we really don't know about it. But anyways, if you see the name 69586, just know it's a typo. It's not a new different cultivar or species out there. All right, that's it on the philodendron. All right, the next topic, we're gonna highlight another provenance of a well-known collector's plant, Philodendron Dean McDowell. Do you own one, Tanya?
I do.
Yeah, me too.
Of course. Hello. The pillow philodendron.
I mean, I've seen quite a few posts like, do I have a Pastazanum or Dean McDowell? And they look really, really, really similar. But there are some slight differences between the two, especially the emergent leaves. So Dean McDowell is a hybrid plant. It's a cross between Philodendron Pastazanum and Philodendron gloriosum. So the cross was made by avid aeroider and hybridizer John Banta way back in 1988. The plant is a crawler, just like Pastazanum. Again, it looks really similar to that species. The cultivar plant is called Philodendron Dean McDowell, so not Philodendron McDowell or Philodendron Dowell. The correct name is Dean McDowell. And it was actually named after a close friend of John Banta who died of 8 around that period, and he did it as a memory to his friend who passed away. Now, John Banta, we haven't really talked about him on the podcast, but he's a really, really known and influential botanist. He was born in 1932 and he died a few years ago in 2021. He was based in Florida, and he's the person who brought quite a few cultivars that collectors still collect into the community. So Philodendron Dean McDowell, but also I think it's called Dark Mama, which is a
Yes.
cross of Anthurium marquianum and Papillilaminum.
Yeah.
But he also worked with other type of plants like Calathea and Kampferia. So he was really working on a lot of different plants, deeply involved into hybridizing. So I do relate a lot to him. And some of his later work in the last years of his life, he worked on developing seedless raspberries, seedless pomegranates. So that's also really cool. I didn't know. But yeah, he's in the aroid world. That's a name you're gonna see a lot. I don't know if he was ever involved in the IAS. Maybe you know, Tanya?
Not to my knowledge, but I can check our knowledge base.
Yeah. I do think that he was really active on the old website. Like I saw a lot of posts on there on the old website. So, but I don't know if he was ever a board member.
John Banta joined the IAS in July of 1981 and served as the Aridiana editor between January 1987 and December 1987. So just a short window, probably to help out while we were trying to find new editors. And then he was co-editor as well from July 81 to June 92. Yep, that gentleman has history at the IAS. Nice.
Cool.
Okay, so that wraps up our Spotlight segment. I personally love my Philodendron Dean McDowell very much. It's definitely one of my favorite crawling philodendron. Fun fact, I didn't know that it was a crawler, and I tried to train it to go up a moss pole. I was not very successful.
Sometimes you can.
Yeah, with that one, I guess it wasn't the right conditions for it to do that. Plus, it was not even a moss pole, it was a cocoa coir pole.
Okay. And I have 2 hybrids with Dean McDowell. I have one with Brantianum, which I love. It's so beautiful. And then another one with Florida Beauty.
You made them?
No.
Oh.
I imported them.
Oh, now I want to see pictures.
Yeah, they're on my Instagram. You saw them.
You know how many of your pictures I have seen? If anybody would ask me, how many plants does Jos have? I would probably say 5,761.
I guess there's more.
What?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I could look it up. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, let's go to our article.
Mm-hmm.
I titled it A Variegated State of Mind.
Ooh.
Sounds philosophical, right?
Yeah. You're going to turn into a writer after all.
Yeah.
And not even in your native language.
I'm sure next week you'll have a new song with that title. No, I gave you ideas now.
Oh my God. Oh, I already have some songs ready. By the way, did you see I put my song on our YouTube channel?
I saw it, yes.
Do you hate me?
We have a different genre of music.
I know.
Like to me, that's like, how do you say it? Elevator music? Does that translate to English?
Yeah, but that's the purpose. You're just supposed to let it run in the background while you do your plant chores. Have a chill vibe.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea.
Well, it's my exploration.
And I'm happy for you.
And I already have 3 more. I just need to make the videos. But yeah, next on my list is going to be A Variegated State of Mind. Okay, so what's your article about? Tell me.
Well, I thought you were going to tell me.
Oh, okay. All right, so
here's some preparations in advance.
Well, no, it's all good. I'm going to put this down to the fact that I spent several days with like 103-degree fever in bed. Okie dokie. What is variegation, by the way? Everybody's gonna, or not everybody, but most of the listeners might jump straight to the Thai constellation, like the absolutely huge and gorgeous one next to me right now, or the Monstera albo, or the Florida Beauty, or you catch my drift, right? It's multicolored leaves, basically, on the same plant, usually in the leaves, but then you can also find it along the petioles and the stems, sometimes even on the sheaths of the flowers if we're looking at monsteras. And I've even seen variegated monstera fruit, for instance. The colors that we usually see when we think of green plants is white, cream, a yellow or gold, which is where the aurum comes from, the Latin word for gold. And then my personal favorite is mint, like a cool mint, if you will. There's also a very light green, so that's when you have the green on green variegation. And then there's also silver or blue-green tones. It's not to be confused with well, there's also red variegation, but let's think of the Syngonium confetti milk with the red dots. That red dottiness, that is not variegation, right?
Those are pigments that are showing.
Right.
But sometimes you have like pink variegation. That's because there was already red inside the leaf, and then
Yeah, a good example would be like the Philodendron Red Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Or the Pink Princess.
Or the Pink Princess, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so variegation happens when chlorophyll is missing in the leaf, or it's reduced or unevenly distributed. And often people say variegata, which is not a correct cultivar name. But since it's used so often, it is kind of like accepted, though it should also be written as a cultivar name, meaning capital and quotes. The best thing to write would be variegated plant name, so Variegated Monstera deliciosa. And what I find super interesting is when you look at, let's just stick, because it's sitting right next to me here at my Thai constellation, if you were to take that leaf and look at it under a microscope in a querschnitt, I forgot what that is in English. Like if you cut the leaf open and then you look in through the cut.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you get to that highly scientific stuff because I'm good at curating, not so much at the science.
Well, the biology behind variegation is, like you said, there are some cells that have reduced or no chlorophyll in there. So that means that they lack the green color that's in the chlorophyll elements. So when a plant grows, some of the cells, one or more of the cells that are in the meristem, which is like the growth point from which the new leaf or stem starts, they start multiplying, and then these cells that do not have any chlorophyll, they multiply over the meristem. Sometimes it goes like in one line, and then you could have, for instance, like a half leaf, half variegation, or in dots where some of the cells are variegated and others are not. But during the cell division, and because sometimes the genetic information is not copied correctly, some of the cells will have less or no chloroplasts in there. And that's actually what's causing the variegation. And I know it's clear for most people, but it is not beneficial for the plant to have reduced chlorophyll. So that means variegated plants will grow slower and they are more sensitive to stress. And we all know that pure white leaves can't survive because they don't produce any chlorophyll and they will die off. It also means that there are different types of variegation. Not all variegation is the same. We have something called genetic variegation, which is stable variegation, and that is caused by a genetic mutation that's present in every cell. So that means that the variegation is encoded in the genetic code of that cell, of every plant, and that means that it's stable across cuttings. You have it in some chlorophytum, for instance, some grasses, some hostas, some begonias have very stable variegation that's inside the genetic code. And also Monsteraceae constellation, it's in the genetic code, but that's caused by something else, and that's another type of variegation. The one we talk about most, or that is most known in collecting, is the chimeral variegation. So that is something that happens by accident, just one or a few cells that lose their chloroplast, and then that will copy in the meristem, and then you have parts of the plant that are without any chlorophyll and show variegation. It's the most common type in aroids also, and it's what also makes the plant very desirable, because these variegation patterns will always be unique, because it's different for every leaf, for every plant. We have a few other ones that are less important. For instance, viral variegation. So some plant viruses will cause the plant to, or it will attack the cells of some plants, and then will cause them to not produce any chloroplasts anymore. Today, that's considered very undesirable in plant collecting. There has been some, between brackets, scandals of plants that are shown, variegated, but actually are caused by plant viruses, and that results in even weaker plants, deformed leaves. So it is generally avoided by collectors to have plants that have a viral infection. The last one, or the last type of variegation, would be environmental or induced variegation. That's something that we see, for instance, when we talked about TC in one of the other episodes. By applying certain chemicals or radiation, you can cause a genetic damage in some of the cells, in which they don't produce any chlorophyll anymore, which then will lead to variegated plant. But those are induced variegation. Sometimes it's also influenced by light, temperature, or nutrition. But that does not change the genetics. So it's environmentally induced. One of the things I'm thinking about is a Philodendron Congo. No, what was it named? Pink Congo?
Pink Congo, yeah.
Pink Congo. So that was a plant, but I don't know if the collectors of today still remember. It was mainly in 2020 was a big scandal. So some philodendron plants that were induced by chemicals to produce completely pink leaves, very, very bright pink. That's not variegation, but it reminds me of that. So induced by chemicals would also be a way to induce variegation.
Questions. Out and about in the world of collectors, we also hear the word sport variegation and blister variegation. Can you say something about those?
Well, sport variegation is a kind of form of chimeral variegation. The only difference is that, as far as I know, a sport variegation, the cells without chlorophyll are not in the meristem, and so they do not multiply into the next leaf. So that's really during the makeup of a leaf, one of the cells or a few of the cells don't produce any chlorophyll, and so they are not being multiplied in the meristem. So that's why it's called a sport mutation, sport variegation.
Because it goes and comes so quickly. No, comes and goes so quickly.
I don't know why it's well, I would say I don't know why it's called sport, but a sport is, that's just the name of, I cannot really explain. I learned it in college back then, what a sport is, but it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with playing a sport or something like that. That's just the name of a type of, like, a part of a plant.
Okay.
So only if you can propagate a plant via a leaf, that sport variegation is not interesting for next generations or for propagating, because that's not in the meristem, so next leaves will not have that.
So that
variegation.
Plant is not really in a variegated state of mind.
It is not.
Okay, and the blister variegation?
I read about that and I forgot it, but I think I recall that blister variegation has to do with different layers of the leaves, where only the top part of the leaf has like translucent or white cells, which gives it like this blister look.
Okay, I thought there was actually air under the very top layer.
I don't recall. I'm not sure. But it has to do with the thickness of the variegation, if that makes sense. Like completely variegated, they are like the entire cell layer is variegated, and blister is like in layers.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
All right, cool. I do love me my variegated plants, though some I don't really like the philodendron strawberry shake. That always looked sick to me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you wonder, I mean, everybody and every living thing gets sick on this planet, right? But we looked into the evolutionary reasons for variegation in nature. I don't know if there's a good reason for it in terms of like for the plant. But like you said, variegated plants usually grow weaker and nature will generally not prefer it. But there are a couple of hypotheses to explain this behavior or this occurrence in nature. It could be used to deter herbivores, which is like the primary hypothesis, because it disrupts visual recognition for insects and grazing animals. Because obviously the irregular light patterns make leaves harder to identify as food. But basically, one could argue the plant is trying to mimic like disease symptoms or a fungal infection or insect damage. But truth of the matter is, many herbivores avoid unhealthy-looking leaves.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you remember, Tanya, when we were in, where was it?
In Prague.
Yes, in Prague. And
oh my God.
when we had like the culinary food, and then we had this one leaf of, decoration, and
Yeah.
it was variegated.
I think it was watercress. Was it watercress? I don't know.
No, it was something like Chinese, whatever, Chinese. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a leaf that, people in better restaurants like to use as decoration.
It looked pretty, but also not, I wouldn't want to eat it specifically.
I ate it, but it did take me a bit of, I was like, I got to trust the process.
Trust the process.
I actually have a picture of it on my Instagram. I'll dig it out and add it to the show notes. Beautiful. But there's like strong evidence of these hypotheses that I just explained in tropical understory plants. Another reason why plants might try to use variegation to their benefit is that insects prefer uniform green leaves or green surfaces to lay their eggs. So variegated leaves thus interfere with visual cues, host recognition. The result then is, of course, fewer larvae, less leaf damage. Now, I would argue that I could make a case against that if I look at my variegated monsteras. They are always the first to suffer from thrips.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, this is what the science says. Variegation could be beneficial in terms of light regulation and photoprotection because in highlight or patchy light environments, the white or the paler tissue reflects the excess light.
Oh, yeah.
And then, therefore, it protects the chloroplasts from oxidative damage. That's a hard word. Which, of course, would be especially useful in forest gaps for the canopy climbers like aroids and other vines and plants transitioning from shade to sun, etc. So now I wonder if from that we can derive whether or not more light helps a plant produce more variegation. But according to what you said earlier, it probably would. Adaptation is a counterintuitive benefit. Because in the deep shade, variegation may increase light scattering within the leaf, and then it improves the light penetration to photosynthetic cells, which would be common in understory species with slow growth strategies. Interesting. And then we have thermal regulation, because light-colored areas absorb less heat, which is true. When I go out in summer, my hair gets hot so fast. And my daughter will be sitting next to me with her beautiful blonde hair, and her head doesn't feel hot at all. It's crazy. Anyway, I digress.
What's new?
Thermal regulation we were talking about, right? So it helps reduce leaf temperature and therefore water loss, and can be an advantage in humid but thermally stressful environments. Thermally stressful environments. I wonder what those could be.
Well, today outside it's -2, so that's a thermally stressful environment for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, let's wrap it up with a brief history of the variegation in plant collecting, because it's not a recent phenomenon. Variegated plants have existed always, of course, but they
Obviously.
were also known by collectors and botanists centuries ago. In Japan and China, there's huge documented information about variegated plants. Back in the Victorian age, Victorian greenhouse collectors had a lot of variegated plants. They were very popular back then. But then in 2022, that is actually called the Variegation Gold Rush. So it took new heights. Collectors, however, did have to learn quickly and painfully about things like reversion. So that was something that a lot of collectors did not foresee, that plants not always keep their variegation, because as we talked about, besides some of the advantages that it might have, usually a plant will prefer a completely green leaf because it grows better and it is better adapted to its environment. But rare variegated plants became status symbols and investment plants during that period. And I think after the variegated philodendron craze of 3-4 years ago, we are now at the midst of the variegated anthurium craze. I don't know how long it will take, but I'm sure the next variegated plant is ready to take over its place once that is done. So that was it about variegation. Did we learn?
Before we close the segment, have you ever heard about variegated orchids?
Heard, yes. Seen? Yeah. I think I like the leaves, you mean, right?
The leaves, yeah. Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if I've ever seen a phalaenopsis or something with...
I saw some with spots, but I don't know if that was variegation. I think that was just...
I did see a phalaenopsis that had like reddish brown spots on it, but like, you know, like the albo kind of variegation. I don't even know that exists, but I might be wrong.
I'm pretty sure it does.
But yeah, you say rare variegates became status symbols and investment plants. I remember visiting a plant collector in London back in 2022, 2023, and I sat in her living room and I was surrounded by huge monstera mints and golden dragons and ilsemaniais, and it was like sitting inside the safe of a bank. It was insane, like the amount of money growing in pots there at the time. I think if I were to visit her today, I wouldn't be fazed at all anymore. Not because, well, yeah, number one, all these plants have become a lot cheaper, and I feel really bad for her. But I guess that's just the game. Anyway.
Let me rate those weird plants. Come on. Weird plants. Everybody loves weird plants.
Weird plants, weird plants. Everybody loves weird plants.
Okie dokie, today it's my turn. Didum.
Show me.
Yeah, let me show my screen. I have 3 plants for you, my friend. And I did not... no, wait, there is... Okay, never mind. But like 2 of them, we've never had the genus. Promise.
Okay, but try to build up in weirdness. I like that.
Are you telling me how to do?
No, just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Now let me think, because I'll have to see how I'm going to open these. But I think, yeah, this one is... Let's start with this one. So the plant I'm going to show you now is a Lophophora diffusa.
You sound so German every time you speak Latin.
There you go.
What? Okay, we're seeing a green ball of clay with pores that have tiny little beards coming out of them, like fluff. Like you want to plug them. It's like,
You know what? No, you go on, tell me, and then I'll tell you what it reminded me of.
like zits. If you pull on them, like the interior is like the zit, you know?
Oh, come on, now you're overdoing it.
No, and if you squeeze on the bubble, then all these pop out.
Have you ever had highlights done?
No. Oh yeah. I haven't, but I know what it reminds you of. Yeah, like the spaghetti cap kind of thing.
Yeah, and somebody pulls through the hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
exactly like that.
I thought that was so funny.
Anyways,
Anyways, let me tell you a little bit about this plant. So, Lophophora diffusa, better? Commonly known as a false peyote. It's a species of plant in the family Cactaceae. That was very English. Cactaceae. What?
Cactaceae.
Okay. Whatever. And is it's one of the species within the Lophophora genus. Like even the name, it's like Lophophora. Let me give you highlights. It's endemic to Mexico on the outskirts of Querétaro. And I'm sorry, I just read mezcal or something. Right. So it's typically grows as a solitary plant or in groups. Its yellow, green, soft, and somewhat flattened succulent stems reach heights of 2 to 7 centimeters in diameter, and in diameter 5 to 12 centimeters. The plant lacks ribs. Like this description is not as funny as the photo.
Do you think like the fluffy parts sting? Because I remember my parents having like cactuses with like fluff, but once you touch it, the fluff stings like they're needles.
No, because it says here, it doesn't have any spines, right? Even though it's a cactus or from the family. But it has a broad, shallow, tuber-like root, and tufts of hair are unevenly distributed.
Okay.
The flowers are white to slightly pink or yellowish white.
Gonna rate it
Tell us.
6.
Aw, cute. I think it's so cute. But 6 is good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next up. I have never ever in my life heard of this genus. It is called a Ravenala madagascarensis. Madagascarensis is a great part of the name. We've had that several times before, but now open your eyes.
So Madagascar means weird. Is it the fruit or flower? What am I looking at?
Well, you have to tell us what you're looking at.
Okay. I would describe this. How would I describe this? Like, it looks kind of dried up, like the stem of a philodendron or anthurium after the leaves have died. And then in the bracts, you see something that resembles like a dagger or a few daggers in a bright blue. Oh no, if you zoom, it's fuzzy. How those are fruits, right? It's like the interior of a fruit, and it's the bluest blue I've ever seen. It's like cerulean.
Yeah.
What is it? What am I looking at? Like it could be like banana trunk, something like that.
No. So it's called Ravenala madagascarensis, but it's commonly known as the traveler's tree or traveler's palm. It's a species of monocotyl.
Monocotyl. A monocot,
Right.
that's like the banana trees are also monocots, the grasses.
Right. So what you said. It's a flowering plant found in Madagascar. It's not a true palm, but a member of the family Strelitziaceae.
Voilà.
Yeah.
Strelitzia, we know.
Yeah, so it's like related to our bird of paradise. And in tropical and subtropical regions, the plant is widely cultivated for its distinctive habit and foliage. In terms of that blue that you're seeing there, the large white flowers are structurally similar to those of its relatives, the bird of paradise flowers, for the Strelitzia reginae and Strelitzia nicolai, but are generally considered less attractive with a green bract. And these flowers, upon being pollinated, produce brilliant blue seeds.
What's the seeds? Okay.
They're the seeds inside the flower, yeah.
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Very weird looking.
Yeah.
I give it 8.
8. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Next up,
Yes. The weirdest one.
I think it's from the family of the Orchia. Can you please say the family name? Orchids. But the plant's name is Microcoelia aphylla. All right.
Okay. Okay. But that reminds me of the orchids we talked about a few episodes ago, the ghost orchids. Do you remember?
Yeah. But why?
Because it's also a leafless, or there was also leafless orchids.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's the same one, no?
No.
But it's also a leafless orchid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this one here has flowers. Do you see it? That's a fail, guys. I should have done the blue seeds last.
Look at our boomer.
See these? See these little tiny flowers?
Yes, yes.
Like, this is the spike. That's different than the ghost orchid.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. I sound underwhelmed.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's because when looking for weird plants, I saw this one a few times and I thought, okay, no, you already talked about that plant, so maybe that's why I'm a bit underwhelmed. But it is a weird plant. It's like only roots. You only see roots and a bit of stem, and then like it photosynthesizes through the roots, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one specifically, it occurs in Maputaland.
Tanya, come on.
Oh, God.
You're what now? You're what? You're what, Lance?
You wouldn't think I'm 49 years old. Oh, God. Okay. It occurs in Maputaland, in Mozambique and Zimbabwe, to East Africa and Madagascar.
No offense to anybody who lives in Maputa land.
Oh, gosh. It's
She's
terrestrial.
very immature for her age.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect that. I read that like 3 times in prep, but that didn't hit me until now. Don't do prep when you have fever. I'm sorry. Right. It like major habitats are forests and savannas, and the plants grow in low altitude. Are in evergreen, riverine, and coastal forests, also on shrubs and low trees, and yeah, in the thickets.
It reminds
Interesting
me a
plant.
bit of the insect, like the walking
Right?
stick. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go for 5.
Okay. That was not bad, though. It was a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah.
At
But
the end.
then you left for 20 minutes and the episode is already super long.
Yeah, I might have to edit that out.
No, keep the laugh, but lose everything else.
I sound like a sick dog. Anyway, dude, it's the last episode of the year. We are done. It's wrapped up.
So next episode, we're gonna have to start with our, how do you say it? Well, our
with an interview guest.
No, what our wishes for 2026 are, or what our ambitions for 26 are.
We can do that, yeah. Do we end this episode with gratitude for what was?
Let's do that.
I am grateful that you and I came up with yet another project, meaning this podcast. I am very, very grateful, and I'm going to give a quick shout out here We have a new friend. I haven't met this friend yet, but I consider him a new friend. His name is Fabio Silva. He sent us the sweetest email about the podcast and delivered criticism in the most beautiful way. So, Fabio, if you're listening to this episode, thank you so much. By now, I will have hopefully replied to your email, but I hope you had an amazing year, and I hope the year ahead is going to be even more amazing. Thank you for our OG supporters, including Kevin. Sweetie, thank you so much. I look forward to... I'm not talking about my son. His name is Kevin too. I'm talking about Kevin Pan, an artist that we're going to be working with in the year 2026. What else are we grateful for? Our interview guests so far. Jesus. Thank you to Bill. Thank you to Fraser. Thank you to...
Memo.
Who came after Fraser?
Memo?
Did Memo come after Fraser? No.
No.
Hello. We had
Joop.
the wonderful Joop. The sweetest ever.
I mean, that's getting like already from the start of our podcast, we already have these big names. Imagine what 26 will bring.
Oh my gosh. I know number 1 is going to be a banger. So you better tune in to the first episode on January. When is that going to happen? January 6th.
Okay, that's not a good date. Anyway, let's wrap this up. And I'll see you next year.
Don't drink too much.
Or
do not pour any alcohol into your plants, people. They will not appreciate it.
why would you do that?
I don't know. People do stupid shit when they're drunk.
It's true. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you to our audience, too. See you next year. Bye-bye.
See you next year.
Pop culture. Spilling the plenty. Pop culture. Spilling the plenty.